Hey guys, Alex Riles here from Tech Data Security. I was talking to some friends and family the other day and realized in the conversation that there is still a lack of education around password hygiene. And I wanted to take just a couple of minutes and address some topics like what exactly are the problems with passwords and what are a couple of tips you can use to stay secure. Now, the first thing I would tell you is the problem is not very complicated. Our modern computing systems are infinitely faster than they were even 5 years ago. Did you know that a hacker with a single modern laptop can attempt to crack passwords at a rate of several hundred million attempts per second? A sophisticated hacker can cluster together multiple computers using lots of memory and compute power, and they can actually try to attempt to crack your passwords at a rate of almost 350 billion attempts per second. With those statistics, how do we think we can come up with complex passwords that could not be cracked by a hacker? Turns out it's not terribly complicated, but we do need to follow some simple basic principles. And I want to go over 5 of them with you right now today. So number 1, your passwords need to be roughly between 10 and 12 characters at least. Used to we said 8 characters, but truthfully, in order to future-proof your passwords as computers continue to get more powerful, I would absolutely suggest at least 10 to 12 characters. Number 2, your passwords need to be complex. What we mean by that is a combination of lowercase, uppercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Special characters are numbers like, or letters like pound sign, exclamation mark, semicolon, etc. Did you know that there's actually 128 ASCII character codes in the computer language? These are the common characters you would find on an English keyboard. The uppercase and lowercase, numbers, and special characters. That's a lot of different characters we can use to create passwords. The goal is to increase the entropy of our passwords. Now, entropy is a fancy word that's a measurement of how unpredictable your password is to guess. So the more characters you have and the more variability in the types of characters, the more entropy you have, therefore the harder it is for a computer cracking program to figure out your password. So the third tip is you need to have unique passwords for every one of your websites and mobile applications. Now you may be thinking to yourself, how in the world am I supposed to have complex passwords that are 10 to 12 characters and have special characters in them and have a unique one for every website I use? That's crazy. And I admit that's a valid concern, but there's a great answer for that. The answer is called password managers. Password managers are tools that you can download for free or subscribe to for extra features that store all of your passwords in one encrypted database on your laptop or on your mobile phone, and it will auto-populate your login window for your mobile apps and websites. What a great tool. Now you may be thinking to yourself, do I really want to store all my passwords in one place? And I can tell you that's a valid concern, but the alternative is far less secure. If you're using less secure passwords that are easy to guess and very short, you're much more likely to be compromised than you are someone breaking a high encrypted database that has your passwords in it. If you pay a subscription fee to these password manager companies, they'll even synchronize your password database between all of your devices so you always have your passwords with you. I happen to use LastPass, and I have over 300 usernames and passwords in my LastPass database. It's incredibly useful because I can have every one of them complex and unique for all my websites. Now, another great feature of a password manager that I really like is that I can have my own LastPass account, my wife can have her own LastPass account with her passwords, and I can designate certain credentials to share with her so that she has access to them. My bank, my PayPal account, investment accounts, I've shared those with my wife, so if something, God forbid, were to happen to me, she'll be able to log in and manage those accounts in my absence. A lot of times we don't think enough about how our digital lives have been complicated when people pass away and we no longer have access to these things. So whether it's LastPass, RoboForm, KeePass, Password One, they're all great solutions and I encourage you to check them out. Now the 5th tip I want to leave with you guys is multi-factor authentication. A factor when it comes to credentials and authentication is simple. It's something you know, that's a password. It's something you have, like a phone that you might text a code to. You ever used your bank account and sometimes you type your password and then they want to text you a code you have to enter within a couple of minutes? That is something that you have. You have a phone that you get a code to. And a third factor could be something you are. For instance, your fingerprint as a scan or your facial recognition on an iPhone. These are biometrics. So whether it's something you know, something you have, or something you are, these are factors of authentication, we call them. Well, multi-factor authentication is exactly like it sounds. It's using more than one of these factors in order to authenticate into a website or a business application. So imagine I have to type my password, something I know, and then I have to receive a text from the company and type in the code, that's something I have, and then they log me in. Why would I want to do this? Because if I were to compromise your password, I still wouldn't be able to get in your website unless I also had your mobile phone to receive that text, and I probably don't have that. Have you ever thought about how easy it is for a hacker to actually get your password? I'm gonna tell you how it works. If I want to hack your PayPal account, I'm not gonna go hack PayPal, they're actually really secure. I'm gonna go to an online e-tailer where you bought a pair of jeans last year, and I'm gonna compromise their website and download their encrypted password database. I'm then going to go to town with a powerful computer trying to decrypt that database or guess your password through a series of millions and hundreds of millions of tries. It's not very difficult. When I find that password, I'm counting on the fact that 9 times out of 10, you're using the exact same username and password on all of your websites, your investment accounts, your bank account, your PayPal account, your Amazon, your Apple, etc. I'll compromise a less secure site to log right into your more secure site. So how do we prevent that? Well, number one, use a unique password for every website. So if I compromise one, it won't work somewhere else. Number two, use multi-factor authentication so that just because I have your password doesn't mean I can log into the website. Not every website supports multi-factor authentication, but if they do, absolutely turn it on. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with is a debate in the industry about a concept called passphrases. Complex passwords are great, a combination of lowercase and uppercase letters and numbers and special characters, but passphrases is a common sentence or phrase or a combination of common words that you string together that only you know, but that are a lot easier to remember. The concept of entropy comes back into play here, which is the idea of making a password unpredictable to guess, because a longer passphrase of 20 to 30 characters that is something you can remember is considered more secure than a 10-character complex password that's really, really hard to remember. So an example, I might have a passphrase like, the cow jumped over the moon. Now, that's a phrase that's in the common literature in the English language. Phrases that are in the Bible, in a common book, you don't want to steer away from those because they're easily guessed as many password crackers try common phrases. But let's say we changed it to the cow jumped over the sun. That'd be 21 characters. That'd be super hard logarithmically for a computer cracking program to guess, and it's easier for me to remember the cow jumped over the sun. A little odd, no one's going to guess that. That's a better password than a 10-character complex password. Whether or not you choose to use passphrases to remember easier or shorter complex passwords, both of them can be stored in a password manager. So make sure you use that. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you to think about some tips around password hygiene, either 10 to 12 character complex passwords or long passphrases, unique websites that for every single one of your passwords, use multi-factor authentication anytime you can, and make sure you use a password manager. Till next time, thanks a lot.